All right, welcome to another level 2 algebra video. We move on to fractional powers now for our indices. And let's talk about some key index rules. If we write the square root of x, which some people prefer to write the square root of x with the 2 out the front, you don't need to. You need to be able to turn that into x to the power of 1/2. X to the power of 1/2 is the same as the square root of x. Now the same goes for the cube root of x. If I write the cube root of x, you need to be able to turn that into x to the power of 1/3. That goes for any root of x. The nth root of x can be written as x to the power of 1 over n, whatever n is, the number n. Okay, well let's take that idea and look at one more rule. What about the nth root of x to the power of m? So we have x to the power of a number m, and we're taking the nth root. Well, first of all, you can write that as x to the power of m to the power of 1 over n, because the nth root is 1 over n. And then we can multiply out the powers. M times 1 over n gives m over n. So we are left with x to the power of m over n. Now, what does that mean? Here's an example. The cube root of x to the power of 8 can be written as x to the power of 8, all to the power of 1/3, because the cube root is the same as 1/3. And then we can multiply 8 times 1/3 to get 8/3. So we have x to the power of 8/3. Right, let's put this into practice with two examples. Here's example 1. Simplify the following. The cube root of 8b squared all to the power of 10. So let's write this down here. We know that the cube root of something to the power of 10 can be written as something to the power of 10/3. The cube root becomes a third, so that's why we get 10/3. Now, let's take it and multiply out the brackets. So we have 8 to the power of 10/3, and then we have b squared to the power of 10/3. So 8 to the power of 10/3. I'm going to grab my calculator. Please be careful. When we have a power raised to a fraction, when we have a number raised to a fraction power, we need to use brackets. So 8 to the power of bracket 10 over 3 gives us 1024. Now when we do b squared to the power of 10/3, we just multiply the powers. 2 times 10/3 gives 20/3. So we have b to the power of 20/3. So we're left with 1024 times b to the power of 20/3. But that 20/3 is going to be written back into root form as b to the power of 20, the cube root of. So our final answer is 1024 times the cube root of b to the power of 20. Right, let's try another one. Simplify the following. Inside brackets, 16 times x to the power of 4, all divided by x to the power of 6, all raised to the power of 3/2. So what are we going to do to start with? Let's start inside the brackets and simplify this. X to the power of 4 over x to the power of 6, we can subtract the powers and get x to the power of -2. Now let's multiply out the brackets. So we have 16 to the power of 3/2, and we have x to the -2 to the power of 3/2. So once again, like the last example, go 16 to the power of bracket 3 over 2, and that gives us 64. Now when we do the x to the -2 to the power of 3/2, we just multiply the powers. So -2 times 3 over 2 gives us -3. So we're left with x to the power of -3. So we have 64 times x to the power of -3. Now, we don't like leaving things with negative powers, so we just need to remember our negative rules, bring the x to the -3 back to the bottom of the fraction and make it a positive power. So we've got 64 divided by x cubed. Right, this is pretty tricky stuff. One of the things I find students struggle the most with. So please go away and do heaps and heaps of practice until you're feeling really confident. Thanks very much for watching.